Bhubaneswar. So today we have a very special speaker, Dr. Santosh Kumar Tiwari. Welcome, sir. So before that, I would like to give a small introduction of him. So just yeah. So Dr. Santosh Kumar Tiwari received his PhD from IIT Dhanbad, India, in graphene-based polymer nanocomposites, and then worked with HSCL, Hanyang University, Seoul, South Korea, for 1.5 years. In 2019, he joined University of Guangxi, Nanning, China as a tenured faculty and then moved to Poland, where he got prestigious NAVA research grant from government of Poland and presently working as a scientist in Department of Chemistry, University of Warsaw. In addition, Dr. Tiwari is a visiting faculty in Department of Chemical Science and Engineering, Kathmandu. He published more than 45 research articles in various scientific journals and presented his work as an invited speaker in different countries. He has also edited 4 books on graphene-based nanomaterials. And Dr. Tiwari has got several awards and qualified the top national exams organized in India. And and the mostly the work interest of him is on 2D carbon nanomaterials, biomass-based nanostructures, mechanical property, and smart materials. With this introduction, now I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Tiwari. Sir, please, now the session is yours.
Yeah. So first of all, namaste and pranam respectively to all the audience. And I am very grateful for this kind introduction. And first of all, I want to pay my thanks to the Jimukta Prabhu who invite me for this lecture. Again, many thanks for your introduction and all these things. So we will start this our session and a small lecture which include the how to link science and spirituality. So the title is Sincerity, Self-Denial and Accountability in Science and Spirituality. So this is the objective, science and spirituality in overview, Sanatan Dharma and various other systems and eternal trinity, important criteria for practicing science and spirituality. Science and spirituality in with science, self-denial in science and spirituality, and accountability. And then we will thank our contributors. So let's start. So first, before any start, we have a parampara that give the all the credit to God. So just a small prayer to Bhagwan. नीलाम भुजश्यामल कोमलांगम सीता समारोपितवाम भागम पाणो महाकायक चारुचापम नमामि रामम रघुवंशनाथम ईश्वरः परमा कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादि गोविंदम सर्व कारण कारणम त्वमादि देवः पुरुषः पुराणा तुमस्य विश्वस्य परम निधानम वेदासि वेद्यम च परम च धामम त्वया तुतम विश्व अनंत रूपम. The audience who not very acquainted with Sanskrit, it means the all creation and every knowledge and every source of creation, all the physical and material world and this divinity is created by God. And all what we are assuming, what we are seeing, and what we are perceiving, it's everything is God, and everything belongs to God. So now start this lecture. So this, if I say the 4th and 5th generation flights are derived from the eagle birds, then obviously in India, you will just become say, it's crazy. What you are telling, these are not like that, but just wait. So very recently, a very good article published by the Columbia University and Purdue University in collaboration. They correlated amazingly how the aerodynamics and kinematics of the 5th and 4 and 5th generation fighter jets is very similar to the eagle birds. So you can, I have put the DOI number, so you can read the fantastic article. So here you can say they have correlated how the sensor work in the eagle birds, how the muscular system, how the sensors work, how the stamina and how they determine the height. The same concept is used in the 5th and even the next generation fighter craft. That is believed they are the electronic warfare more than the craft. So this slide is to correlate how our nature is connected, the spiritual world is connected with the this our just physical divinity. So the spiritual divinity and this our divinity that we can perceive, we can see, that is just a reflection. And also Vedas and other Upanishads say that this world is an exact reflection of spiritual world. But in India, if you say something like that, no one is going to accept, just make it crazy. Just previously 1 year I joined science national science conference, and one person presented something about the Shiv Purana, and the people started saying this is crazy. But same thing, when you go abroad and present these things, they start internal investigation. That is the difference, and these two slides are just to correlate the things. So our this planet have two kind of system, only two kind of system. These are the spiritual knowledge, and this is the material knowledge. These two and everything belong to the this two. So even at present, what is the most studied and most talked science? Creation of this universe, how this universe get originated. So at present we have five main theories: Big Bang theory, steady state theory, oscillating theory, creation theory, and intelligent design theory. Very interestingly, even this advanced and ultra modern science believe in two systems. One is Big Bang, that is completely rational. This theory is in brief say there is no need of any creator. But an other theory, intelligent design theory, also well accepted, and there is so many paper published by Harvard, Cambridge, and many other universities. They believe there is some creator. Is for your kind information, one colleague of Stephen Hawking is completely rational and he denied everything about the creator. But his colleague who studied together, he wrote 100 of articles including Nature and Science, and they prove how creator control this our creation. So we have two kind of knowledge, science and spirituality. In science we have everything controlled by systematic study, and then we have data, because these data can be repeated again and again. So we always say they are empirical data and we can prove it. But in spirituality, very interesting, it's also a part of experiment, but we believe it is only a matter of soul, super soul, and to have everything as a perception, not experience. But it is a wrong. We will see in the next slide. So here we have to be very careful. As I told the previous slide, the spirituality is believed that everything is perception, but no, it's the spirituality here is divided into two parts: the Sanatan Dharma and the other religion system. In Sanatan Dharma, like Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, Adivasi culture based on rituals, it is perfectly, absolutely based on experience. These are not perception, these are not assumption, these are not any faith. But all the Abrahamic system, including a very few part of Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and some so-called pseudo atheists, they are based on faith. That is, they say the religion or spirituality, there is a two things. So in West, especially in United States and Europe, the religion and spirituality is two things. But we have to be very careful. In Hinduism, the spirituality and religion or dharma or dharmic parampara, they are not two things. And also this first of all projected in the front of word by Swami Vivekananda, who told in India, even a village man is completely dharmic. So we can see in West, spirituality and religion, two other things, but in India, they are identical, absolute one and oneness. So now, if someone asks what is the difference between the Sanatan Dharma and the other, So the Sanatan Dharma is always starts with the self-realization, soul, super soul, and all the super the creation activities that is controlled by someone without any material interest. We have to keep in mind, if we are going to become a dharmic, a real spiritual person, then we have to lose our material interest. In opposite to other, in West and other Abrahamic religion, in other religion except Sanatan Dharma, here spirituality is treated as deepest value like emotion, faith, inner investigation, peace, and even sensual and sexual activities treated as a part of divinity and also a spiritual study. And soul and super soul, of course, a parts of the spirituality. So these are the basic difference, and there is so many good book has been written even in India and outside of India by what is the difference between the Sanatan Dharma and the other religion in terms of spirituality. So at a deeper aspect of Sanatan Dharma, we have a dharmic parampara of the self-realization where we only consider self-realization, superpower, super soul activities, and there is no relation with the any happiness or any sensual or sexual activities with the God or God-like activities. In other words, if we go in the deeper prospect, Veda says Eko Brahm Dutiyana Asti, means there is only Brahm, absolute Brahm, and nothing, anything is nothing. Now, a question can be countered and asked, if there is everything is Brahm, then where we, you, and this universe? So, the amazing explanation given by the Vishnu Purana, very, very good explanation, even a layman can understand. विष्णु शक्ति परा प्रोक्ता क्षेत्रज्ञ तथा परा अविद्या कर्म संज्ञाना तृतीया शक्ति तृतीया means the one superpower that we seen here eko brahma dityana ast. Here this can be divided, the shakti of Vishnu can be divided into three parts. Please be patient, we will go our three criteria. I am just adding some introduction so we can correlate how the science and spirituality are not against, they are correlated to each other. So here the Vishnu Shakti means Brahma Shakti can be divided into three categories: Swarup Shakti and Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti. And very fantastically Tulsidas Mahaprabhu wrote, ईश्वर अंश जीव अविनाशी चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि सो माया भय भयो गोसाई और बाध्यों कीर की मरकट नाई. More in more lucid way, Tulsidas Mahaprabhu just wrote, आगे राम लखन बन पाछे तापस वेश विराजत काछे और उभय बीच सिय सोखत कैसे ब्रह्म बीच ब्रह्म जीव बीच माया जैसे. Tulsidas Mahaprabhu illustrates there is nothing to, there is this Lord Rama is a Brahm, you can assume he is a Brahm, and this is the Jiva, and this is Ma Sita is Maya. So it's correlated is a very simple word. So all things is one, but just due to Maya we just appear three. So these are the basic difference between the Sanatan Dharma and other religious school, other religious thought. So now up to here we have creator, creation. So when we study only creation, then it is a science or scientific investigation or technologies. When we correlate the creator and creation, then it is a spirituality. And if suppose someone is only concentrated to the study of creator, means Lord, supreme authority, then one can understand itself this creation as well. So there is a difference we can understand. If you are dharmic or spiritual dharmic means Sanatan, in connection with Sanatan Dharma, then you understand creation and creator both. I introduce a new word, pseudo spiritual. This is the atheist people say, but I say them pseudo spiritual. Pseudo spiritual, yes, they are telling, oh yeah, there is something that drive our forces, that is something control us, but they don't believe anything. But the scientists or science are much better than pseudo spiritual, because either they say, oh, I don't believe in any god or super activities, or they say yes, there is a creator. But these pseudo spiritual, they have no any logic, even of science or any dharmic parampara or spirituality. So now we will start our parameters. As we know, for to learn to become expert or to practice anything, we need certain parameters. Without any parameter, we cannot do anything. We need calibration. If there is no calibration, we cannot perform. So, suppose if you want to become an engineer, then you must study engineering sciences. If you want to become a doctor, you must at least you have to study biology in your primary fundamental classes. Similarly, if you want to become a classical music expert, then you have to go in the music school and guru. Prabhupada give a very good example, and in one book he wrote that in India or anywhere, if you ask someone, oh man, you know about the quantum physics, most of the people will say, oh no, I don't know, I didn't study it in my syllabus. But if you ask, can you tell me something about God, everyone will start, God is this, God is that, God is like that, God will punish you, God you have to fear. Why this? Because we not studying spirituality in a proper manner. So, as science needs some fundamental factors, some fundamental parameters, some inquiries, we need some basic information. Like spirituality also needs some parameters. So there is a so many parameters has been described in our literature. So first one is the clear objective, common sense, deep understanding of fundamental laws, dedication, surrender, continuity and repeatability, self-denial, intense inquiry about everything, sincerity, high intellect with sharp memory, and accountability. Very interestingly, when I was preparing these slides, I found all these things which is prescribed for the dharmic parampara, spirituality, equally important, equally benefited for the science. And now we will see how they are correlated. So here it will be very long to cover all these things. So we will only cover these things: self-denial, sincerity, and accountability. So let's start first one, sincerity. So it is a very composite and very unique word. So Oxford Dictionary says this is the composite of honesty, genuineness, and freedom from hypocrisy. Let's apply these three terms in science and spirituality one by one. Suppose you are a PhD student, first year student, and your guide given a reaction that this is the reagent and you have to add in water at 100 centigrade in 1 atmosphere pressure, and he told you will when you will get a deep green color with yellow fume, then you understand, then you have to decide this is your product, and your expert then leave the lab. Also, he given the instruction that you have to repeat this experiment at least 10 times. Suppose you repeated all these things, but there is some problem. Sometime you have problem in the temperature, sometime you have problem in the pressure measurement, sometime you have measuring problem of the reactant, and you get one light green, one deep green, one green with fume, and one another color. And if your guide or supervisor asks you what is the result, if you are not sincere, then you will give a wrong data, and all the your experiment will be exploited, will be wrong, and you cannot learn anything. Similarly, here, suppose our guru told me that you start chanting for 1 year with veg food, with body purity, and follow all the instruction. What is the all instruction? Suppose you have to start chanting with body purification at one place, and very careful. Suppose you are doing all the chanting but not following any base food, any body purity, then what will happen? You will not get any result. Like here in science, suppose if you use temperature 80 centigrade instead of 100 centigrade, the product will be another one. Suppose you are not going to use any pressure, the product not you will another product. Similarly, if you are not sincere and you are not applying all the concepts as prescribed by the guru or the Vedic parampara or the dharmic parampara, then you are not going to experience any god or experience about the divinity, about the god, about the superpower, about the self. So this is the basic. Now, in advanced level, suppose you followed first step, you obeyed first step, then what will happen? You will get in science, you will get a confidence. Oh, I can do this work. This is very good. I can repeat this work. I can do more like that work. And in spirituality, what will happen? Suppose in 1 year you started chanting with base food, with proper body purification, without sensual enjoyment. What will happen? You will start self-realization. They are not permanent, but they are temporary. So these are advanced level. Next advanced level, we will see this confidence in science will convert, will create a very good awareness within you, creativity, and deeper prospect about the laws of nature. Suppose you performed one reaction, then you will start thinking, how can I manipulate these things at the atomic level, molecular level, or how can I manipulate this reaction for some beneficial or commercial purpose? Here, if you followed and just enter in the second level, then your self realization, which was temporary, will convert in the permanent realization. Then you will start, yes, there is something superpower, and I have to pray more and more, I have to follow instruction more and more, and then you will start questioning why I am here, who I am, what is my need in this creation. Third step and most advanced step in science, suppose you followed all the rules and instruction given by your supervisor, then what will happen? Formulation of new laws. You will be able to formulate some new law. You can produce new product for the human being for the easy life. You can understand all the natural law and even can postulate new law, and you will accept the complexity prevailing in the physical world. What is the complexity? Suppose I am a layman. I never studied anything about nature. Then what will happen? Oh, everything is good, very good. It's clean and green. But if you go and ask a quantum physicist, what is this creation? He will say, "Oh, I don't know. It's a very strong mathematics, and I have to learn more and more." So when you practicing science, you realize there is a more complex system. Now in spirituality, if you practicing, then you again start questioning, I am not a body, I am not a mind, I am a part of super soul. And the last one, you will start seeing the God in everyone, because you understand that the creation is very intelligent and very complex, and there is something behind all the creation. So if we follow these rules, sincerity in science and spirituality, we can see all all three parameters are very deeply affect the science and spirituality. Without sincerity, you cannot do a science. If you are not a sincere, you cannot be a very good science or a very good dharmic person. Now the second one, self-denial. In Sanskrit, we have tyaga. This is also a composite word, and Oxford Dictionary defined it: restrain or limitation one's own desire. But in Sanskrit, it's a different meaning. Tyaga means you have to leave many things for your benefit. So this is the tyaga is not equivalent to the this self denial, but we have to work with this now. So first step, suppose now we have to apply the tag or self-denial in science and spirituality. Suppose you are a software engineer and your team lead or your company given a 1 year task that make a software, code a software that can recognize whole India's face in address. So that is can recognize and identify in different ways the face of Indians. What will happen? At least 1 year you have to give very carefully, and you will leave most of your enjoyment things. Even you cannot concentrate properly in your family. What you are saying, if you oriented to develop some new thing in science, you have to leave many things from your own. Maybe you cannot go proper sleeping, proper enjoyment, proper some movies and some plays, because now you have a very big target in science, and you are as a scientist, as an engineer, you have to leave many things of your personal to develop something for the humanity. Similarly, now you apply the self denial in the spirituality. Suppose you are a beginner and started chanting. Then your guru told, no, you have to now abeg 4 o'clock. You have to leave all the meat eating and fish eating. You have to leave drinking and smoking. Suppose you are not leaving these things, you cannot progress in spirituality. Here, if you not dedicated and you not compromise with your many things, even with your family, you cannot develop such kind of software. I want to say, if you want to develop a very good science, you have to leave many things your own. If you want to pursue your spirituality, you have to leave a lot. So this is a basic one. In the advanced level, suppose you are a very good scientist, then what will happen? Must be alone for the original thinking. You go and study your library, any book, any big scientist, you cannot find in the biography that they are not reading. Even the one of the well-known and well decorated scientists, which is known is very less educated, Faraday, but he is the second most experimentalist in the world, and his contribution is even sometime bigger than Einstein if you go in the chemistry and quantum physics. He was not much educated, but he was mad about reading. So here in a science must be alone for the original thinking. In a spirituality, no, let's see in the science first. No gossip and no time for the social interaction. Prolonged reading must most of the time in the lab for the scientific imagination. No time for sensual enjoyment. Even no time for family and friends. Minimum artificial requirement for the survivability. So this is the criteria of a good scientist. Even in India, CNR Rao not using any phone, any email, any artificial gadgets, and he wrote in his Wikipedia that I am just technophobic. So if you want to become, if are someone is a very good scientist, they compromise with all these things. Similarly, in spirituality, you have to live under the mentorship of guru, guru, and some dharmic parampara and tradition. No gossip and no interaction in social, no gossip and even no interest in the social interaction. Prolonged meditation, fasting, chanting, and we have to whole life service for the God. Sexual and sensual enjoyment is not allowed. No one is my relative or friend except God. Minimum requirement for the survivability. So in the second advanced level, we can see identically we have to follow the self-denial rule to become a good spiritual person or a good scientist. Second, suppose you just grown up as a more advanced base. In a more advanced base, there is a history of computer development. They develop computer, and it is said that at least 300,000 300 scientists leave everything related to the daily life even the proper breakfast and the meeting with children, and even they don't know when his and her children become young, and then they develop such a computer profound internet system which we today have. So here we also need a very strong self-denial. We have to leave many things because we want to contribute humanity. Similarly, suppose you are a very good spiritual person, then what will be? You will try to the communal harmony, blissful and peaceful mankind. You will try to correlate with different religious leaders and different scientists to make our universe, or especially this earth planet, free of fight, free of hate, free of hunger. So in advanced level, scientists and spiritualists both, they both try to make this planet very good for the mankind. Suppose in the third level, yes, in the third advanced level, that is most advanced level, even a spiritual person and a scientist like Heisenberg, who got Nobel Prize as well, tell there is nothing beyond the Brahm. Everything is Brahm. Everything is even everything is Brahm. And he make a very popular statement. At those time, I want to just recall when quantum physics developed. Einstein was the most strongly opposed and opponent of the quantum physics. Very few people know this, and he fought with Heisenberg and Bohr at least 8 or 10 years. He was completely against to the quantum mechanics, but later he make it bulletproof. So then Heisenberg given the very good concept. If you not believe in quantum theory, you just go and read Vedanta, you will understand. Similarly, Swami Tulsidas said, Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Shamana Prem te prakat hoy jana. Means everywhere is God. There is no need to find God in the special way. So in case of self-denial, we also seeing science and spirituality need similar, not similar, identical parameters to become a good scientist or a good spiritual person. Last, accountability. Accountability also a composite word. It 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 according to Oxford Dictionary, it's obligation, willingness to accept the responsibility. Means accountability also consists obligation, willingness, and responsibility. Let's apply these things in science and spirituality. So recently I studied a very good book, and if someone, especially the PhD student, want to read this book, amazing book. So this book is mainly written for the financial and self, but and for the productivity, but it could be amazing for the youngs who want to study something about the what is the really what is accountability means. So they defined in the seven chapters: self honesty, value other, keep regard, take responsibility, do the right things, act promptly with care. So this book is very Westin. This book is very good. Anyone can read this. This also, I think, PDF is also available online. So now applying the science and spirituality. Suppose nowadays we mostly in the newspaper and especially in CNN and Republic, we always talk about the fighter jets. So in developing fighter jet is a very big science indeed, but the tires used in the jet is a very specific and high science and technology required for the development of this. But it is not our scientific debate, so we will consider on the spiritual prospect. Suppose you are going to fight with this aircraft, and expert given an instruction, the load must be 20 to 25 ton. Speed during landing and during takeoff must not be 300, and temperature during the friction when we run on runway must not be 500. And suppose if pilot is not going to follow a single of this rule, what will happen? There will be crash. There will be no value of this very very costly fighter jet. So we have to be very, very accountable. Even the science given us very good tool. The identical things if we apply in the spirituality. Suppose a candidate is going to start Ekadasi and a guru or our dharmic tradition or a parampara said that you have to follow the body purification, mind purification, food purification to understand the divinity, and then you become eligible to understand this divine God or the super personality. Suppose you are doing fasting, but you are not following anything. Means you are not accountable to the rules. Then what will happen? Nothing. You will only you just do ekadasi. You are keep doing ekadasi whole life, but there will be no realization. Here, if you are not accountable, a billion dollars craft is going to just as a best, and here your whole life is going to become a waste because you are not accountable. This is a basic level. Second level, so very you have if a science person, especially the physics person here, will understand. So there is a first see here in the quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling, and there is a threshold energy concept. So threshold energy is saying for a reaction or a system, you have to cross over, yeah, overcome this energy barrier. Understand? There is a experimental proof for the activation energy. Okay, you can prove in the science, but now a new theory called quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling says no, no, man, there is no need to go this high. Just tunnel, just make a tunnel and go by this. But this has no any experimental proof. Understand? Now we have to be accountable about the science. We have to understand here activation energy, we have experimental proof, but for the quantum tunneling we not have any kind of proof. But the Big Bang theory, which is very acceptable in scientific community, says due to this quantum tunneling the energy cross the barrier, and then the Big Bang happens, and then this universe creation take place. Means a accountable theory which is not proven has been applied for the Big Bang. Understand? This quantum tunneling is not proven anywhere by any experiment, but here applied, and a theory has been developed. But scientists have to follow, have to accountable to follow this quantum tunneling. Similarly, suppose you are you have a realization, about the God, and now you have to your guru told, okay, you are have a temporary realization, or you are doing your chanting properly. Now you have to leave your food and are limited your food, and just you have to be alone, and per daily you have to start chanting at only one time, one place, and without any disturbance. Suppose there is no proof of that. If you change your place of chanting, then there will be disturbance. But if you are not following, you are changing your place. It is proof in our literature. There is no experimental proof, but there is a experience, our experience from our Siddh gurus and our previous devotees, that if you change your place of chanting frequently, there will be a difference, there will be a perturbation, there will be a huge alternation in your God realization. So here in tunneling we not have any proof, but we have to follow for the Big Bang. Here we also not have any proof that if we change our place of chanting, or we have changed, even the guru, a dharmic person not allowed to change our chanting box, chanting bag. You have to use the same chanting bag for your long time, if you want to become a successful spiritual person. The second level, suppose you are a scientist, and you are a very sophisticated scientist, and you develop a medicine for cancer or AIDS. Then you have to be very responsible and very accountable. You cannot share those research directly with the world community, because it needs several trials, several testing, several permission from government. So a good scientist, a accountable scientist never will share these kind of important investigation with the world without several religious repeatability, trial, and testing, because it will be dangerous for the world. Similarly, suppose you are realizing God, then Guru always said you not have to share your experience with anyone. Only you can share your experience with Guru. Again I want to explain this. Here, you discover a medicine, then you cannot directly share with the world, because there is so many rules for the trial and testing and patent and permission from government. Here, suppose you reach in the second state and you realize in God, your connection with superpower, then it is not allowed. You have to be accountable, not allowed to share with anyone. Suppose if you are not, if you are going to share with your experience with anyone, what will happen? You will lose all your experience. Third level, suppose when invention of atom bomb, if if scientists was very accountable, then they are not going to share with the world. They can disappear all these data, or they can manipulate whole research to save the mankind. But for the self gratification, for the self respect, for the self just to become a famous, they shared all those things with politicians. What will happen? We lost billion of people and our whole world on fireball. Anytime we can lose any country or even whole world. Similarly, if you are not responsible and you realized something, suppose you got siddhi, then what you will start? Some tantra, mantra, destroying people. You got to influence your politician by your tantra month. But it is not a spirituality. It is a kind of, here scientists are irresponsible. Here a spiritual person is irresponsible. So in my opinion, accountability is also very strictly applicable in science and spirituality. So, तुलसीदास महाप्रभु again told, काम क्रोध मद लोभ की जब लव मन में खान, तब लव पंडित मूर्खो तुलसी एक समान. The fantastic things, all the description to Tulsidas Mahaprabhu added in single word. काम क्रोध मद लोभ जो काम क्रोध मद लोभ की जब लव मन में खान, तब लव पंडित मूर्खो तुलसी एक समान. What is it means? In a very short word, we have to concentrate on self and have to modify, have to purify, have to make a lot of restriction on ourselves. Another, and give the definition of divinity and definition of Bhagwan or supreme personality of Godhead. Tulsidas Mahaprabhu says, एक अनीह अरूप अनामा, अज सच्चिदानंद पर धामा, व्यापक विश्व रूप भगवाना, कहीं धर देह चरित कृत नाना. Means the God, there is no form, there is no shape, he is everywhere, he is controlling everything. But if he wants, he can take anybody and incarnate as a Krishna, as a Ram, as a Narsimha, or anything. I am very thankful to Bhagwan Jagannath for this giving opportunity to me for doing science, and I'm very grateful to my parents and Gauri Dadi for providing me higher education. I am very grateful to Sri Muktadas for this invitation. I'm grateful to late Professor Andrew Fusco, Michael, Professor Yankyu, Professor Sungha, Professor Vijay of NIT Srinagar for helping me unconditionally during my PhD and academic career. In this line, most importantly, I'm very grateful to Professor Nayak for giving me PhD. And last but not least, I am very grateful to many PhD students and my researchers, especially during working in IIT Dhanbad, Dr. Amrita, Dr. Ramesh Ram. We work together, and many PhD students from India, Korea, Nepal, UK, and China who helped me directly and indirectly. Last but not least, one very good work designed by IIT Bangalore. सूक्ष्मदम सूक्ष्मिदम सूक्ष्म सूक्ष्मते सूक्ष्मस सूक्ष्मदा सूक्ष्मेव तिष्ठते. This is the nano Upanishad. This is a definition of nano. And then alasya kuto vidya avidya kuto dhanam adhanam kuto mitram amitram kuto sukham. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful talk and very nicely comparing science and spirituality. So it is, yeah. So now I would like to invite any question, comment, discussion from our participants. So can raise their hand and can ask the questions.
I cannot see. Can you tell me, because I never used Zoom? Can you give me instruction? How do I see? Because I cannot see anything.
You can see the participant list out there.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So
I can
anybody,
stop. Either I can stop sharing, then I can say.
yeah. You can stop sharing.
Okay. Stop sharing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So any comments? Yeah, so we have a question from Jayanti madam. Yeah, ma'am, you can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dr. Santosh, thanks for presentation. And I think I have got a lot of questions in every slide, but I think it will be difficult to discuss all that.
No, you can very honestly. Today I have time. If I can, I will give the answer.
No, it will require a lot of philosophical discussions as well as, because I think your source of reference is completely different than what is we have known about it, and so that is how some things are coming. Because I believe you might not have read Swami Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita as it is. You are focused more on the, you have not covered many things. So that is why there are differences, though you have tried your best. See, basically, like, is regarding, you spoke about that slide on the religion. You said these are based on faith and something on experience. So as such, there is nothing like Hinduism also. You know about it. Hinduism itself is the name was given. Okay. And when there is only one God, if you have studied religion, there is one God. Okay. All are his children. And then as far as faith, praxis, and as well as the mode of approach, because even in Hinduism, so-called Hinduism, whatever you call, to reach God, we do have different phases of religion. Like T.D. Singh is to talk about something called as, there is something called as pure religion and something called as religion. Okay. So this clarity you need to have, because we do have dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So the so-called rituals and so-called, because there are different levels of evolution of consciousness. And as per the consciousness you're existing, as per that you are prescribed few things. Like Mahaprabhu instruction to Rupa Goswami talks about different types of living entities. Kindly read that, you will come to know. As per that, different types of rituals or different types of religions, even Daiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they are very clear about it. And within that, you will see that, in fact, all religions merge when it comes to pure religion, and there is no difference. So this is one thing I noticed. And second thing is,
please, one by one. Actually,
yeah,
one by one. If you say many things, then I cannot even I cannot
no,
recall.
this is not my question. I'm just giving.
No, already it is a lot of questions. I'm very happy. It's a lot of questions. You raise many options. We have a different. Really, you told that we have a different opinion. What you are telling, but if you saying these things, we have a counter answer about this. So if you are just asking many things, I cannot reply anything.
Okay. No, because I myself have completed the entire religions. Okay, I've done my postgraduate in religion. So I've studied that.
Madam, I am not, please don't take it. I am not asking any question on credibility. I just very humbly told that we have a different opinion on this topic. So it is, I'm not telling that your
no. Why I'm telling is because when we talk about pure religion, because you are focusing on spirituality. Okay. So Abdul Kalam has said spirituality is the postgraduate study of religion. So we have to be very clear.
Hello. So, ma'am, we can invite more questions.
No.
Discuss later.
Please give me 1 minute because madam is asking so.
Okay.
You are quoting different person, but you have to very kindly listen what you given a list of things in your. Exactly, there is a difference between the Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Ram Prabhu itself and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is many defects, and even I mostly concentrated might of what I understand. I'm not make my slide on basis of what you are telling. Yes, we have a different kind, but if you ask a question one by one, if I'm able, then I will give.
Not questions, sir. What I'm saying, what you have done might be okay, but what my point is, whenever we have, because your focus is science spirituality, okay?
Yeah.
So whenever we talk about spirituality, it is normally very broad based, and we have to be very encompassing. And when we understand religion, wherein all religions have got spiritual aspects very much, and all religions have got ritual aspects, all religions have got faith is common. There are many things. So when we talk science spirituality, it's a very broad domain wherein we don't much discriminate on certain aspects, because ultimately it has to do with evolution of human consciousness. Irrespective, all will have different faith. Hinduism is also one faith in a way. Buddhism is a faith. Christianity is a faith. That is, faith will change. But we do have something to do with our evolution of consciousness. As per that, there are prescribed rituals or prescribed procedures given to evolve. So these things, it's all given in all religions.
We have different opinion. We have completely different opinion. Yeah. I also not what you are telling, madam. With very due respect, I am not agree with you what you are telling, because yes, indeed, I not studied all the what is scripture you told by the Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Thakur and many. But indeed, I cannot show that what I studied. It is not platform of discussing our knowledge. But what I present, but what you are telling to me, indeed we have a lot of difference.
Yeah, that difference could be happen. No problem. So now we can have other questions. I think Milinder sir would like to ask some questions. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milinder sir, you can go on. So I think he's not audible.
Yes, there is nothing.
Yeah, his voice is not coming.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I think this is intermittent my mic. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Santosh Tiwari, for this wonderful presentation. Yes, no, I coming from different tradition. It may be different way of presentation, different way of understanding of spirituality.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and but definitely, at least I was.
One thing, I was very sorry for interrupt. Let me clear that it is like a disclaimer. I am not a self-realized person, but I am trying to understand the divinity in my prospect. So what is my prospect I presented here? Yes, I will not, I have no right to disagree with anyone, but I have right to present what I understand from Sanatana Dharma. Yes, go ahead.
Absolutely fine. It's we respect your viewpoints. That's absolutely no problem.
Thank you.
I, from the bottom of my heart, I'm saying like it's a wonderful presentation. In fact, I got so excited. I went to the forum halfway through the presentation. I said, "This is a wonderful presentation and a wonderful speaker. Please join." I think after that the score also gone up. I think I saw
Thank you very
some
much.
people have joined actually.
It's
Okay,
nothing wonderful,
see,
but it is your kindness.
it's really see, there could be some philosophical differences from the school of thought I come from and the school of thought you come from, but spirituality to be presented to a general audience, to scientific community, definitely this will go. Maybe with little bit of things here and there. That's my comment. That's my simple comment. I'm not eligible to comment on this one, but you have presented what attracted me, because I come from aviation background. When I opened the thing, first thing I saw was, you're explaining about the fighter jet, how it is, you're comparing it with eagle.
That is why, because I presented that paper, and this is the Columbia University and Purdue University. Even one paper published by IIT Bombay, but I not presented here because some people start questioning, oh, this guy is Indian, so he giving the preference. So that is I selected this previous paper. This is really very interesting paper. They have given a lot of things, so anyone can go there and.
Right. I'll come to my question now. Your flow was fantastic till the point you came to this three things we discussed, right? Between science and spirituality, 3 points we discussed: self-denial, and the third one was accountability. So can we go to that accountability slide? I think the accountability slide, it was not the parallels drawn were not okay. Can you just throw some more light on that? That's what.
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
The accountability slides which you.
Yes, accountability slide. Yes, I mean accountability slide. Yes.
So in that, the parallels which you drawn between scientific understanding of science and spirituality side, that was not very clear. It was not going. So I just wanted some. Yeah.
Okay, which one? So can I explain from basic or advanced one, advanced two, or
advanced one, advanced two? Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Very good, sir. Sir, just see. I'm here saying for advanced one, in the there is a two concepts for the activation energy. There is a classical mechanics and there is a quantum tunneling. Okay.
Right.
So activation energy, we suppose there is a reaction A and B, and we get product at the 100 centigrade. So we have a experimental proof that 100 centigrade is needed to reach the to overcome the activation energy. Okay, sir?
Yeah.
But that quantum tunneling is it's a theoretical, it is a theoretical mathematical model, which says that there is no need to overcome the energy, but tunnel the energy. Means quantum tunneling. I am not expert of the quantum physics, but it is, yes. So this is this quantum tunneling giving the concept. Assume there is a condition created during the creation, during the Big Bang, that this energy, there is no need to temperature, because the question arises, where we get temperature to a huge temperature for the creation of this Big Bang. So quantum tunneling of the Tufts University, one postdoc proposed in 1973 this concept, quantum tunneling. He proposed this mechanism. There is a condition created anyhow. Just assume. So this tunnel the activation concept. There is no need to overcome this. This is the tunnel. They make a mathematical model. So here, this is the timeline of Big Bang. Here in the initial there is a nothing. But the concept of quantum tunneling, that activation energy just happen somehow, this quantum tunneling, and the temperature increase the system, and the universe creation is started. This is itself a confusion in Big Bang if you study that, I want to say. And in science, suppose you are.
Is it possible to flash your slide also while you're talking, because others also can see that?
Yes, sir. Share?
Okay. Is it possible? Yeah, you can share the slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will share. I will be happy to share. 1 minute. Okay, sir?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Now the spirituality side you can do.
Yes, sir. Spirituality side, suppose one, as I said, suppose 5 or 10 years, you followed all the chanting very properly, okay, very properly. But in our what from the Tulsidas Mahaprabhu or many other, even the many gurus of our Vaishnava Gaudiya Parampara, they told if you started, suppose you're chanting 5 year, 10 year, and you started realization with divinity, that you understand everything is like that, you have some realization, then you not have to change, you have to decide your time. Means if you are starting 5 o'clock chanting daily, then 5 o'clock must be you start. And suppose you are going 3 hours, then 8 hours, means 3 5 to 8, means the same time, same number of chanting, and same number of same backbeat, identical backbeat you have to use. But there is no experimental proof why we use the same time, same backbeat, and same place. There is
Okay,
no.
I'll stop you here. I'll stop you here. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
this very thing,
Yes,
the
sir.
science follows the experimental proof,
Yes, sir.
but spirituality do not follow the experimental proof. So that is
Yes.
very obvious. So where
Yes.
is the question of experimental proof? That is my opinion. It is
Yes.
more experiential proof right here.
Yes, that I want to say. If you change, that I want to say, if you change and if you not follow the perception that given by the idea or principle given by our previous guru, then you are not going to achieve the deeper knowledge like here activation and tunneling. That is my a broad correlation.
Here only there is a slight no understanding difference. Maybe it is my understanding difference.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you are talking about repeatable experiment that's happening in the science,
Yes.
okay, that but it has not happened in the case of tunneling, right? Quantum
Yes.
tunneling.
Yes.
But here it is happening. The sages
Okay.
and seers have kind of repeatedly experimented this and come on given this rules or axioms saying that if you do this, you will achieve this result. So this is already a kind of experimented and proved also here in spirituality.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But that
Obviously.
comparison, I know I couldn't get that comparison. How we can compare these two things? Similar thing follows for the next slide also. That's all is my question.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
others
Yeah,
can.
so
Yes.
we have another question by Shravan Kumar. Shravanji, you can ask your question.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Santoshji, for your nice presentation and drawing parallels between science and spirituality. It is very good to see, and you are interested somehow
Very
or the
little
other.
things I know about both, so I tried my best. But yes, I will be happy to give what I know.
Yeah, it shows your interest in the field, and yeah. So, what will be the take-home message for the people you would like to convey?
Okay, my message is just in my last disclaimer I told neither I am a very good yeah.
Some sound is coming from the background. So I guess Shravanji, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can you please repeat? Yes.
Yeah. So this take-home message. What would be the take-home message from your side?
Yes.
By the entire presentation. Yeah.
Yes. So first, as I started with Tulsidas Mahaprabhu, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta, और कहाँ सुने बहुविध सब संता. So Santa is a very so Hari Anant. Hari means not only spiritual. Hari means I propose my concern is Hari means this spiritual word and this scientific word. So we have to we have to make some kind of understanding that correlate the science and spirituality, and both are the two faces of the same coin. That is my one request to all my age person and to anyone, even the younger one. The second one, what we are learning, our aim must be to share with our juniors or our equivalents. It will be it you are maybe you are not perfect, but if you share your knowledge with your others, with especially with your juniors, then you start a parampara of learning. That was a tradition in India. That is my second and last thing. I, as a speaker, as my request to all the audience.
Sir, yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, sir, thank you for this nice presentation and good attempt.
We'll take some question from Jayanti madam.
Yes.
Yeah, Jayanti ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Anyone else is there?
I guess someone more raised the hand. Mm. Jimukta Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll speak at last.
Okay, okay. Okay, Jayanti ma'am, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of scope of improvement. And the analogies, see, from the scientific point, certain things were presented properly. But the analogy with the spirituality, the things that is not having proper clarity already on the accountability of the chanting and all was taken, because change of place, change of time, and normally we have so many experience and experiments wherein even when there is change of place and timing, it is possible that one can realize through chanting, because that is not what, because this chanting of Mahamantra has come through Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya. So he is the original preceptor and he will be the right, his message is actually the absolute message. So that is what has to be understood when it comes to chanting. And similarly, all these qualities, these are the qualities of the self, accountability. And as far as self-denial is concerned, it is the Nivritti mark. That is self-denial. Everything has to be in relation with our relation with God. And all this comes, all these qualities are explored through that. That is what, as per the Bhagavad Gita, in fact, any Bhagavad Gita. So these are the qualities of the self and how it has to be expounded. That is very important. And it's not a very what you call rituals Guru Parampara. It is not a ritual Guru Parampara. So it is not even the Advaita Acharams have given about science spirituality. One can read Swami Ranganatha's. It's all are on the same, all are on the same line into science and spirituality. Only the difference comes in the perception of God, because Brahmeti, Paramatiti, Bhagwaniti. There are three aspects, and that is why there is reciprocation with God. There is a realization of oneself's connection with super soul, as well as there is an all pervading, all pervasive Brahman. So even so we don't call that somebody who says there is some creator existing or there is a supreme conscious existing, we don't call them as atheists, because at least they're accepting somebody. So it is not that we should call them somebody who doesn't believe in God or have a doubt in God, you can call them agnostic. And this is one comment TD Singh, who is the founder of Bhaktivedanta Institute, he made it very clear. Atheists are very less. So we have to be very respectful to not just Indians or Indian continent. All over the world, we have all categories of people who are trying to understand science, spirituality, as well as the presence of God within their domain. And I'm sure that all can come merged together. The purpose of science spirituality is to bring all categories of faiths and understanding, where I mean, every this science and spirituality is there in every religion, every faith, and all can come together, and that is the main purpose of the inclusiveness. And that is what I feel like there is a lot of scope of improvement in this slide. Though some examples of science has been taken nicely, like you took about quantums, those things all are fine. But when compared with spirituality and taking these three qualities, how to explore these qualities, there is a lot of scope. With that, I end. Thank you.
My knowledge is limited in both fields, but I'm completely, absolutely not agree with you, because you are just importing all the things in your prospects. So I'm very sorry, but I don't really don't know anything about both.
No,
Yeah,
no, I'm not imposing. Absolutely no.
Yeah,
I'm
just a
just
comment.
telling.
Yeah, it's just a comment.
It is just a comment that whenever
I
we are talking,
understand
because
that
this is
that is why very
Bhaktivedanta.
respectfully yes, Dr.
No,
Janki, that is
because
Yes.
Tulsidas Mahaprabhu has got perception. We completely accept that. We are not talking that, because if we are going on Bhaktivedanta Institute, this is a program, and we are having a very all inclusive. You kindly go through TD Singh books. He has not, I mean, skipped any. He has been part of an interfaith conference. He has been part of the Nobel Laureate Peace Ambassador, everything. And I don't think that there is anything which is outside what. So we have to make an humble effort. We may have a small understanding. We should have that humble effort that yes, I must learn something and I must accommodate that. And we should not restrict to a sectarian approach of just, within the Indian sectarian, that will become, that is not the way what we want when we talk about Sanatan Dharma, one God, all are the children, science, spirituality within his creation. This is what we have to, this is what it is.
Yeah, thank you.
that is your prospect. I welcome it, but I am not agree with your window. That is my prospect. What I understand. Yes, I have to learn more and more. I have to always learn. My knowledge is very very tiny and limited. That is I am agree.
Yeah, so I think we have question from Susan ji. So, sir, you can ask your question. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I just have a very humble suggestion to
Yes,
Sri
thank you.
Santosh Tiwari ji,
Thank you
that
very
I have also been an avid reader of Goswami Tulsidas ji.
Yes.
So I will request you to go through that Ramcharitmanas more vividly, and you will definitely be astonished and thrilled to see the passages where Tulsidas ji is actually saying that uh, absolute truth originally has a form, and it is not the case that a form, no, wait, let me finish. It is not the case that a form has come from no form, and there is a impersonal God and who incarnates according to time, place, and circumstance. So that is my humble request to you. Maybe like to go through those passages.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is very good suggestion. I understand, and I never, maybe I have presented in other way, but I never say that God has no form or like that. My concept was changing the place, because what I learned from our tradition, family tradition, and things from the Guru, that if you are, suppose you are what I told, maybe I presented in other word, my perception is wrong, but this is not mean that God has no form, there is a delusion, no, not like that. But yeah, indeed I have to study more about the Ramcharitmanas.
Thank you very much.
So, any other people, any other word person? So I need, it's a last call. So if we don't have any question, then so I would like to thank Dr. Santosh Tiwari ji for such a wonderful talk, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for a student who are studying science, and also it's give us a scope to study more about our Vedanta and other scriptures. So with this, thank you, sir. For
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
to
for
everyone, and thank you everyone. Everyone is what I presented is why my limited knowledge, and really I'm very happy to join this session. Really, thank you to all of you for joining this and giving time.
yeah. So I forgot to say that Jimukta ji has something to say. Maybe
Yes,
he can unmute himself and yeah.
Yes, Santoshji, thank you so much for nice presentation. And our Santoshji is involved with us maybe from 2006 when he was in IIT Dhanbad. He arranged some of lectures, our BI speakers, and he keep coming, and now he's in Poland. So Santoshji, in this path we have to always something like we have to learn. If
yes,
some of our seniors has also we have to
yes,
accept.
always.
And I have small request also our seniors, if like some of our speakers they are new, like Santoshji, he spoke first time. If something they are missing out, please correct them. And it's a path, then slowly we'll do nice. And once again, thank you so much, Santosh ji. We'll
Thank
do.
you to all of you. It's not thank you, all the senior speakers, and especially to Janti Madam and Sushant Prabhu. Everyone is very thankful from my side. My knowledge in spirituality is very, very tiny, even nothing. And in science also, so what I presented is my personal aspect. And yes, but I have all right to present what I know. Yes, it is. If it is a wrong or anything, we have to discuss more and more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So yeah, so yeah,
Can I believe?
yeah, you can. Yeah, you can